Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson, I'm your host on Teaching with Board Games, joined again by Timothy. He's been gone for a while, but he's back again. Today, we'll be taking a look at Miss Bernard is a Wild Card by All Things Equal. So if you're looking at this game, then probably chances are that you're already familiar with the My Weird School series by Dan Gutman. This is a card game based on the characters. Now, if you know the series, you'll know that every book rhymes with the name of the teacher, like Mr. Klutz is nuts, Miss Child is wild, Miss Daisy is crazy, all kinds of books like that. So this game is similar in that, and I'll explain how that works when we get to the how it's played section of the video. But for now, let's just take it to the report card. Okay, and we've been joined in the report card with Tiffany. She wanted to come and find out what all the fuss was about down here. So in looking at the number of players for Miss Bernard is a Wild Card, going to give the game a B. It plays between 2 to 4 players, which is standard for a game, so that's my score for a B. So in looking at the learning for Miss Bernard as a Wild Card, I'm going to give the game a B. It's got some good things in there where you're dealing with different things, like you're dealing with rhymes. They identify adjectives and nouns, and they encourage a lot of reading in the cards as well. So every time you're playing a card, you're reading it. When you finish your sentence, you're supposed to read it. When you're playing the wild cards, which are the Miss Bernard cards, then you have to read all the things that are on them. So there's definitely a lot of reading in the game. So I like that about it too. So overall, there's a lot of different elements in there, and it kind of reminds me of Mad Libs, which are a fun way to encourage kids to learn their parts of speech as well. I know my students really enjoy it, and it's going to be a fun way for the kids to learn. So now we look at fun. I'm going to give the fun a B. I think it was a fun game. Timothy, what did you think?
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Oh, here we go. So, looking at the fun for the game, Timothy, what was your thoughts on it?
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I mean, it was a good game. It wasn't something like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing, this is so much fun. But it was fun. I mean, it's the kind of thing that reminds me of some of the games we might play in a classroom, which the kids might say, well, this is just a language thing. But yes, it is. Would you rather do this or would you rather do a worksheet? They're going to choose a game like this because it's a fun way of doing it. Like I said, like Mad Libs, they're fun. You know, would it be the kind of thing a kid would choose over, other activities at home? No, especially not if they're playing something like Fortnite. They're going to want to do that instead of a Mad Lib. But when it comes to playing things in school, this is definitely a more fun option and a fun way of learning, right? Mm-hmm. So for that reason, I give it a B. For time, I'm going to give the game a B. It's a fairly quick game, so it just doesn't take much to set up or clean up, and the playing of the game should be fairly quick. There's simple decisions to be made, and as long as players aren't like really overthinking it, the turn should flow by fairly quickly. For cost, I'm going to give the game a B+. I give it the B+ because it costs like $22, which for a game like this is great. It's really just the cards. You have the boards which the players use for their sentences. And here she goes. So $22 is like a great price for a game like this, and so if you can pick up a copy, I would really recommend it. And because it's a small, such a low cost too, it would be a game that could be easily adaptable into, like, if you're doing it for a classroom and want it for multiple groups, then this is definitely something that you could do as well because it doesn't cost that much. And so now, having talked about the game, there is one thing I want to talk about it, because as we were playing, it was actually in our very first playing of the game. In our very first round of the game, rather, what did we find? What was your adjective and noun for that first round?
It was naked and girlfriend.
Naked and girlfriend. I mean, this to me, if I had this in a classroom, I could just imagine that there could potentially be some backlash. I don't think this is me overreacting here. I think this is, I think I'm a pretty open-minded person, but that to me was just inappropriate for a kid's game this age. I mean, the word naked, it could be naked squirrel, it could be naked monster, it could be naked fart, it could be a lot of other things for the noun, but there is the word boyfriend and girlfriend in there, so you have the potential to get naked boyfriend, naked girlfriend. And that is problematic. If I had my children when they were younger coming back to me and saying they played a game at school that talked about a naked girlfriend, I'd be like, excuse me? So definitely something, if I was playing, I'd want to take that one out. But let me take it to the table and I will show you how the game is played and show you how this situation can come about, so if you choose to avoid it. All right, so this is the setup for, well, it's not actually a setup because you would have more, you have one of these player boards for every player that's playing. I'm just showing you one board right now just to show you how the game is played out. So during the game, you're going to, every player starts with 2 cards. The youngest player goes first. You're looking at your 2 cards, you then draw a 3rd card, and you're choosing one of those cards to put into your board here. So I have Miss Holly, Smelly, and Monkey. Now you notice that each one is worth so many points. So you're maybe considering putting one down that is worth a certain number of points. So maybe I'll put the Miss Holly card down because she's more points, but then I'm going to have to find the rhyming card for Miss Holly, which would be is jolly. Miss Holly is jolly. But maybe I'll put the monkey down for now because I might want to put a rhyme if I got a rhyme later. So it would go around, other players would take their turn. When it comes back to me, I take another one. So now I've got this, now I have an adjective. I'd had an adjective before, but this one's 4 points, that's 2 points. So I have fish flavored monkey, and so on. Comes back to Marie. Oh wow, look at that. Crawls on the floor, ground like a, and then comes back around. Now, you can put a non-rhyme in here just because that's going to give you the points. In case somebody else finishes the round first, you can claim the points for it. But you're not allowed to win the round until you have the rhyme in there. And winning each round does give you bonus points depending on the number of rounds. And so you're scoring the rounds on here. But that's basically what you're doing, is you're just matching the colors to the things. So you're putting the teacher, the rhyme, the action, the adjective, and the noun. So in this case, Miss Holly is off her rocker and crawls on the ground like a fish-flavored monkey. So, and again, and so every time that you're putting a card down, you read it. Every time you complete your sentence, you read it. When you get the Miss Bernard cards, which are these, the wild cards, then you have to read all the text to everybody so that they know what's happening to them. Now there is actually one card on here that I didn't like because it's just one of those take that cards. It's not really sort of anything like strategic or anything. It's just take somebody else's, one of their cards off their board and put it on the bottom of the discard pile. And I don't know, those kinds of cards are kind of mean, especially in a game like this where you're trying to help people learn. So I might consider removing that one. But this is where that situation came in, and where, you know, the adjective was naked and the noun was girlfriend. So if we had it like Miss Holly is jolly and crawls on the ground like a naked girlfriend, I mean, that, like I said, I think I'm a pretty open-minded person, but that to me is inappropriate. Or like Mr. Klutz is nuts and sits on the toilet thinking about a naked girlfriend. Again, really inappropriate. So if you're going to get this game, then what I would do, and what I'm certainly going to do myself, is just remove that naked card. If you remove the naked card, then I think it's, saying girlfriend is not a problem, but I mean it crawls on the ground like a fish flavored girlfriend. I mean, that's just silly. But to me, like I say, that removing that one card, that would be, if you're playing this at home and you're okay with it, then fine. But if you're taking this game for the classroom, then please heed my advice here, or my warning anyway, that could be, to my mind, problematic and would be a card that I'd be removing. I don't even know why it would have been put in there in the first place. So so to get back to the game, once you have completed it, so you have a rhyme, let me just find the rhyme here for Miss Holly, or Mr. Docker. And notice too that they have a picture here is off his rocker. So they have a picture of Mr. Docker there. So that way you can also help to identify the rhyme by the teacher whose face is on the rhyming card. That one was actually pointed out to me by Timothy. I didn't notice it until he had said it. So well done, sir. So there we go. There's Mr. Docker. So I put it down. So Mr. Docker is off his rocker and crawls on the ground like a fish-flavored monkey. So once I have that, I'm going to total up the points. 5, 9, 14, 18, 21. I get 21 points. Actually, that works out, 21. But then you also get a number of bonus points, depending on 5 bonus points for round 1, 7 for round 2, and 3 for round 3. And that's how the then when you total up, and then that's your points. So just to recap the rules, what's going to happen on every turn, every player has 2 cards. You start your turn, you take 1 card. you have 3 options. Option 1, you play a card onto your board. You can even replace a card if you need to with another card that matches it, this base. So I can put a different noun in there if I wished, and then that card would go into a face-up discard pile. Now, once there is a face-up discard pile, instead of drawing from the top of the deck, I could also choose to draw from the first card, top card on the discard pile. My second choice is to play, so I have 3 cards. My second choice is to play one of the wild cards, so I read out what it does and I do it. The rules say you're not just allowed to discard it without actually doing what it says. So if you're going to get rid of the wild card, you have to do what the card says on there. Your third option is if you have 3 cards, you say, no, nothing here works for me, you can just discard it. Okay, and once somebody has a sentence where you have all the components in there, you have the teacher with a rhyme, you have the action, the adjective, and the noun, then you have won the round. Remembering that you have to have the rhyme. So if we had it with Miss Holly is off her rocker, it doesn't rhyme. So you can have the points there in case somebody else finishes, but you can't win that round unless the teacher's name rhymes. So once you have the Mr. Docker's off his rocker, then you can finish the round and win that round. And that is how you play Miss Bernard is a wild card. Let me take you to my final thoughts. All right, that's it for today's episode of Miss Bernard is a Wild Card. Thank you, Timothy, for coming out and joining me today. If you have any questions about this game, or if you have any other suggestions for great language games that you use in the classroom or at home for your educational purposes, please let me know. Leave me a message in the comment section down below. I do love to hear from the viewers. If you're new to the channel, then what I'm doing here is I am putting out content on a weekly basis about gamification, game-based learning, all kinds of ways that we can improve our pedagogy by including games and making the learning more fun. If this sounds good to you, then please remember to hit like and subscribe down below, as that really helps. And that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Until next time, I am Craig Thompson Wood with
Timothy.
saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it